what we see in the chapter 4 of Exodus is a rod. It was a rod of Moses previously. He used it for a long time, maybe from the time he started shepherding the sheep he might have used it, but we don't know exactly. But it is for a long time in the hands of Moses. So the rod of Moses being turned and being called as the rod of God in this chapter. So as we read the verses, we see that when coming to the chapter 4, verses 4 onwards, and the Lord said unto Moses, put forth thine hand and take it by the tail. And he put forth his hand and caught it, and it became a rod in his hand. Chapter verse 2 also, what is written is, and the Lord said unto him, what is that in thine hand? And he said, a rod. So the first thing, the important thing in the life of Moses is the rod, the change of the rod. Until that time, it was just a rod, just a stick. But when the call of God placed upon the Moses, then the ordinary one became an extraordinary rod. And the verse, when we come to the verse 20, where it is being given, Moses is saying that the rod of God. So this rod is gonna play very important role in the life of Moses. When we read the complete, the book of Exodus, many times, time and again, this rod is gonna play a major role. Whatever Moses is doing, there the rod placed a major role. In fulfilling the will of God, this rod was very important in the hands of Moses. So, the rod. So, like that, even in our life also, we are also like a ordinary people. None of us are extraordinary. We don't have any qualities of an extraordinary person. We are very simple persons. We are very normal people, like a ordinary rod. But if the call of God is in our life, if call of God comes into our life, this ordinary rod can become an extraordinary rod and can bring the great wonders. But the thing is, we have to obey the call of God. When Moses obeyed the call of God, the rod has become an extraordinary weapon in his hands. And with that rod, he has done mighty works as Lord led him. And the second thing that played a major role in the life of Moses and what we read in the book of Exodus chapter 4 is the flesh of Moses. That we read in verses 6 and 7, where it is saying that, and the Lord said furthermore unto him, put now your hand into your bosom. And he put his hand into his bosom, and when he took it out, behold, his hand was leprous as snow. And he said, put your hand into your bosom again. And he put his hand into the bosom again and plucked it out of his bosom. And behold, it was turned again as other flesh. So the flesh of the hand. We see the second important thing in the life of Moses is his flesh. He put his hand. God said to him to, and God is showing another sign Actually, these are the three signs God showed to Moses to give him the belief that the one who met him is the Lord sovereign, Jehovah. So the Lord is giving him the signs to keep complete belief. So first sign is the rod being changed into a serpent, and Moses to the serpent by the tail, and again it became a rod. And the second sign is to put his hand in the bosom, and once he put the hand in the bosom, first of all it became like a leper's hand, like a snow white, and then again when he put back the hand in his bosom and take it out, it became like a normal flesh, normal hand. So the flesh, the body of Moses also is gonna play a major role in his life. Usually everyone's body, we keep our body very important, because our body is what we are. We're being shown by our body. If our body is not there, then no one knows who we are. So the body is important, and we keep our body safe, and we wash it so that it won't smell. Same way, even Moses' body was also very important. And we see that Moses lived for 120 years, and all through the years, even in the wilderness journey, when we read the next chapters and the other books of the Bible, the Pentateuch, all the 40 years, when even though people were walking, their sandals were not being torn out, and mm, they the people, even their clothes were good, and all those things we read. So this flesh, the flesh of Moses, also was important. And there came a time, what is why I'm saying important is, till now no one knows where his body was buried. Of course, when we come to the book of Deuteronomy, where we read that when Joshua, after the death of Moses, before entering into the promised land on the the hill, or the Nebo, here after his death, he buried it. But when we come to the Jude, verse 9, where we read that the archangel Michael is talking to Saturn. What we read in there is Jude verse 9. At Michael the archangel, when contending with the devil, he disputed about the body of Moses, does not bring against him a railing accusation, but said, "The Lord rebuke thee." So the body of Moses, or after his death, his body was not been there, and no one knows where he was buried. His body was not there. So the body also is important. The third sign, what we see in the chapter 4 of Exodus, is the water turning into blood. Moses being drawn out of water. He was Pharaoh's daughter taken him from the water of Nile. And now the what Lord said to Moses is, you take the water of Nile, and if you throw it out, it is gonna be blood. It is going to be a sign you need to perform in front of the people of Israel, and even in front of the people of Egypt. And after that, the next two chapters, when we read, we see water turning into blood. Then, even in the life of Moses, this water is gonna be a very important part. This is the water where he was accepted by the people of Israel, and at water only he lost his control and lost the entry into the promised land. When the people of Israel were in the place Kadesh Barnea, Numbers chapter 20, when we read, because of the water, he lost his privilege of entering into the promised land. So these three signs are very important in the life of Moses. The rod, throughout his journey, the rod has played a major role. The flesh, Deuteronomy says that Joshua has buried him in the in the in the forest area at Mount Nebo. In the book of Deuteronomy, chapter 34, we read that Joshua has buried him on Mount Nebo, whereas verse 9 says that his body was not there, it was taken, and no one knows where he was buried. The third sign, what we read, is water turning into blood. This water also played a major role in the life of Moses. This water only made him very acceptable in the sight of Israel at the time of Mara. People, when they felt that the water was very salty, and he turned the water into the bitter water into sweet water at Mara, so the people accepted him. And then in other times also he gave water at Mariba or at Horeb. But when they come to the place called Kadesh Barnea, because of this water, he lost his privilege of entering into the promised land. So every person's life, everything is important. The sign, what the sign God showed to us is the sign of Jesus Christ. He be crucified. He, through the shed blood of Jesus Christ, we are being healed and we are redeemed only because of his blood, the sign of his blood. If it is on us, if we are being sanctified by the blood of Jesus Christ, we are the sons of God. And with this sign, we can enter into the heavenly places. So God bless as you watch the program, and whatever the sign that God has given you, showed you, that sign is going to play a major role in your life. So be strengthened and be courageous and hold what God has kept in your hand and work it for the glory of God. God bless you.